This is episode 13 of the Medellin podcast. We are all the way live in Mexico. What city are we in, Joel?
Sayulita. Sayulita. We've got it printed on the hats.
On our hats.
We're repping Sayulita today.
You got it on your shirt?
On the shirt,
and
too.
I got on my shirt.
This is a very special podcast because we met our friends out here that were living in Medellin for a while, but now they're living in Mexico. One of them has a Mexican bean baby, and
Got a
beanie baby.
a little
beanie baby.
one of them has a Mexican bean baby
Man,
now.
that baby's gringo as well. Come on now.
It's
a bean
basically what
baby.
he is, right?
Yeah, he's a beanie baby.
Okay, wait. We jumping guns, right? Are we jumping?
Yeah. We gotta introduce.
Let's back up a little bit. We gotta introduce it. Beanie Baby's dad.
What's your name?
My name's Kyle Ellerbrock.
He looks like a Kyle, right? Like a white guy named Kyle.
I'm not
That's
from
him.
Kentucky though. I'm from South Carolina.
South Carolina,
You
from
know
the
what I mean?
Carolinas. So we got
Nathan
Nathan
That's it?
Mandela.
French. Nathan French from Racine, Wisconsin.
was from Racine. Oh, I didn't know that. I just thought.
Isn't that where that one movie was filmed? Fargo.
No, that's Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota. So
But
good.
you guys both speak the same and usually have the same level of education.
What?
The people from
Minnesota and Wisconsin?
any Minnesota people and cheeseheads watching this don't, it's no insult. It's just we're just joking around with Nate. We
Pretty impressive you knew cheeseheads. That you
I know a
say
lot,
that you're
man.
Canadian,
My
right? Like I don't know.
Deep.
Green Bay.
Green
All right,
Bay.
so today we are drinking margaritas. On top of that, some Mexican beer.
Salud. Margaritas.
And we got the Don Julio when the alarm goes off. Felipe, who's behind the camera, and we love Felipe, by the way. And Gary Vanderchuck with his big balls hanging out.
It's actually a dog, not the real. I think we need to take another camera to show you guys that there's a dog called Gary that's on the ground,
he's
and that
chilling.
Gary Vanderchuck is not going to look at this show maybe sometime in the future, and we call him a big ball guy.
He's only
laying on
8
the
months
floor.
old.
He's only 8
So
months.
I guess today's podcast is about being a digital nomad. And I know you guys hate that term. I hate it too. But you guys are kind of like digital nomads.
Yeah.
Yep.
And living in Colombia and living in Medellin and also supporting your lifestyle as a digital nomad. So I guess I'll let Joel start off with his first question.
The first question is always the same. We're going to go this way.
Yeah.
But Kyle, what made you go to Medellin in the first place, and what was the first time and your first impression of the place when you went there?
To be honest, it was by accident. So I had been traveling for a couple years, been different places in Australia and Asia and all over, and wanted to go to Argentina. I was back in the U.S. for a bit, and I thought I was going to go to Argentina and go to Buenos Aires right off the bat. And I had some friends that said, "Hey, we have a wedding in Cartagena."
Okay.
So I went to Cartagena for 10 days, right? And I was like, man, the Colombian people, it just felt warm, it felt right. I keep talking to these people, and they're like, hey, if you work online, digital nomad, you need to go check out Medellin.
Okay.
Like, it's a hub, it's a place.
When
you
was
can get
this?
down.
What year?
So that was 2016.
Okay.
So 2016 was my first time, and then I got hooked, man. I went to Medellin. Within a week, I was like in an apartment. And
So you went just to check it out, and then you just stayed?
Yeah, and I just loved it. And I just said, Argentina can wait. I'm really happy here. And then I started meeting a couple good guys. This one English lad named Sam Goody, and then Nathan French.
Tough Sam.
And that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And you?
I was traveling. I was backpacking through Southeast Asia for a while, and I would just ask people regularly, like, what's one of your favorite places? What's a place you've been to that you'd really recommend? I'm telling you guys, I'd say like at least a dozen different people in different places. Like, you got to check out Colombia. You got to go to Medellin. So went back to the U.S., broke, taught as a substitute teacher, saved up money, and then I just flew to Medellin and kind of started things from there. And especially, I heard a lot, once I read about it, I was like, kind of what Kyle said, like the digital nomad, like I really wanted to create an online job that would allow me to live and work anywhere, and people are like, this is a great place to go. Like, it really is kind of an up-and-coming spot. So
And we met you guys.
Yeah, I remember
Rest
we
is
met
history.
after Carnival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, Nathan was a big part of that because of the ball, and then, like, it just slowly started happening.
NBA.
Like, well, you guys have been there forever. And there's always-
NBA for life.
The ball.
Because of the bald.
Yeah. Wait,
And you guys see it because there's a lot of, like, travelers in and out, right?
Yeah,
So it
Nathan
takes a while.
sucks at basketball, so I'm putting this on camera. I school him every time we play.
good
No,
place.
but
That's a
actually, you said something interesting that you were substituting as a teacher.
Yeah.
So now, what do you do now here to support your lifestyle? Because obviously you travel a lot. Well, now you're kind of stationed here in Sayulita, but before you were traveling a lot, and when you were in Medellin, you had a nice apartment. You were living a great life. What is it that you do that allows you to do that?
So I'm basically a consultant, like a digital marketing consultant, and I have 2 or 3 clients that I work with, and I help them run ads on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google, PPC.
How'd you get those clients?
Initially through Upwork, and then there was one client that I found on Upwork that has become, like, just built a really strong relationship, and he's introduced me to other clients within his industry that I work with and do the same thing for.
We have probably some listeners that would have never heard of Upwork. What would you describe that as?
So Upwork is probably the biggest platform. I'd say the biggest platform for like people, like for freelancers to find jobs online.
Okay, so anybody could just make their profile and put it up there and offer their skills.
Now there's a lot more.
Like, you have to have some skill. Like, you have to have something you can do. But like
gardening.
No, that's more. There's a different app or website for that. This is more. I would say it's more like focused on digital marketing, writing, copywriting, design, web design,
jobs
coding.
that can be done digitally.
Just digitally jobs that can be done digitally for like.
I heard that there's a limit now. I heard that, like, I know a lot of people that try to go there and create like a graphic artist profile or writer profile, and then they get rejected because there's too much of that specific profile.
Yeah.
So you can't just go and be like, oh, I'm a writer, and then everything's fine. What's going on with that?
100%.
Do you know anything about that?
It's really interesting because I told you this, Joe, because we talked about some SEO stuff, but I had my dad create a profile on Upwork like almost a month and a half ago, and I had a client who needed some help with some content writing and creating some blog posts for their site, and he got approved.
Okay.
But he was a journalist for 15 years. He had a portfolio, like he had an extensive writing, like experience with writing, right? So I think if you just go there and you're like, oh, I'll be a content writer, and then you don't have
anything to show,
anything in a portfolio, a link to one blog post, anything, like, get out of here, man. Like, we're not gonna like.
But now
we want to keep the integrity of this site, you know.
But now they got different.
At least go to Medium or something.
Gary makes a profile, he can't get hired.
What did you say?
I said now they have like multiple sites though. Like I work in the same thing as my boy Nathan here in the advertising world. We have an agency, and like one of our clients has an app called Jobbility, and it connects kind of
Jobbility.
It's called Jobbility.
Oh, not not like for
no Jobbility, like Jobbility. But so anyways, this app though connects like people that want like gig jobs.
Yeah.
Like they call it like the gig economy, gig jobs and like different things, and they're connecting them. So like. Upwork is still the biggest, like they hold the market share, but now there's a bunch of places coming out. Like it's becoming easier and easier to find like digital work.
Yeah, so we know what Nathan does, I guess. What about you? What do you do?
So very similar. A couple years ago, I traveled. I was a banker, and I worked in finance and in the mortgage world. And I left, and I traveled. And the first thing I wanted to do was just travel. But then I started really just digging in and learning everything I could about digital marketing. For a good year, I was just really digging in the books, digging in every blog I could, like early, old school, like Neil Patel, and just like reading, just get my hands on everything. And then it just opportunities led to more opportunities. And so I work in digital marketing as well, in advertising, and went from freelancer to now agency owner.
Did that happen before you got to Medellin? Because what I found personally is I worked in marketing before here, in strategic marketing, in telecommunications. And I consider myself a marketer, but I didn't know shit about quote unquote digital marketing, meaning making money virtually from a laptop anywhere. I wouldn't know how to do that. I wouldn't know how to go find a job on Upwork, but I could tell you marketing related stuff and how to do marketing. And I found one of the beautiful things about Medellin for me, and that's why I found it really interesting that Nate, he just jogged my memory and he said he was teaching and he made a transition into the digital life, is I feel like Medellin is a hub for if anybody's interested in that lifestyle and lifestyle design and lifestyle change. It's one of the best places, and I've never been to Bali and some of the other places, but the minute you set foot in like your first, call it penthouse, your first party with a bunch of expats living there, and you start asking people, hey, what do you do, man? What do you do? You start hearing a whole bunch of crazy shit, and everybody's making money, getting paid by PayPal, something, and you're like, what the fuck? This shit exists, and
you
it's
just learn
everywhere.
by osmosis. You're just around it. That's how I got into it. My sensei's right here. Kyle was the first one to put me into paid advertising. While in Medellin, linked up with him. Andrew, I mean, you and Franco built the website. You built Porque No, right? Like you got, you just meet people. You start working on projects. And
if you want it, man, like it's so like feasible. today.
It really is.
Like, honest truth, like you at your fingertips, you have like so much information. So like, I'm just questioning whether people like want it or not. It's not even a matter of like, can you
No,
have
but do you
it?
think,
It's like,
do you think it's
do you want
circles?
it?
I think it's.
Well, we know that you're a writer, and that's your thing.
Yeah.
So your agency, what's the name of the agency?
It's called Bespoke Media.
Beastmode.
We call it Beast Mode. No, it's Bespoke.
So Bespoke focuses on what?
So we
Social media or
and
what?
paid advertising is more or less.
Paid
us. We're
advertising.
digital
All
marketing
digital paid.
because we also look at the other things. We look at the conversion rate. We look at the landing. Like we handle all scopes of it. When you do something like advertising, you got to look at marketing overall. It's messaging. It's all this stuff. You know, it's hooking everything up on the back end. There's a lot more to it, but yeah, we specialize in working. We have clients kind of in a couple different niches, but we've been focusing more on the medical side, and we found an approach that generally works over and over and over again, and we kind of apply that to every new client that we get.
So I know that we have listeners, even my own friends, that have watched, and they have different type of jobs. They're nurses, they're flight attendants, they're real estate agents, and you were a banker. So how'd you fall into the digital marketing space because you were a banker, right?
Because I had a passion to continue what I was doing through like early travels and know that I could do it more or less on my own terms. That's the thing that kind of drove me, and I wanted it.
But
like,
is it something?
It's like you want something, and then you're also figuring out like what are you actually good at, and like I'm kind of good at marketing, man. I have like great ideas, and I put together great campaigns, and I get to be creative with my clients, and it fits in my kind of skill stack as well, you know? And people have been like, when people are telling me, hey man, that was like an awesome campaign. Hey, that got us results. Hey, this got us this. Like, you know, you're kind of good at something. So I was interested in it and good at it.
Were there times that you were struggling like hard?
100%. I've struggled extremely hard. I went from doing really well as a mortgage banker to traveling to having really like nothing at times, then to back to, you know,
Argentina.
And then Argentina, and then like, yeah, dude, I traveled with this guy in Argentina, and like, you're kind of just learning and adapting and developing. And I've gone from like single guy to now like employees, and like I'm just progressing every day, you know?
So I think my thing with that is for a lot of people that will listen to this, hopefully, because we're going down a really good path, is that how does someone get into, because you sort of answered Andrew's question, but you didn't in a way, in that, is this something like you're like, hey man, I watched a movie and then I heard that, you know, there's these things called digital nomads and they travel the world and they work online? Or did you fall into a community of people like I fell into a community of people, or like Nate fell into a community of people going to basketball, meeting people, yo, what do you do? Mm-hmm. We fell into this, and that's what, I'm bringing it back to Medellin because that's what this is about, is that you come to this city and you realize that there's people doing real shit online. I worked in marketing and no one ever told me I could go work from my basement if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying?
I'm more into the community, like you said.
Did you fall into the community?
I think I like fell into the communities, and the communities are what kept me like into certain places. A lot of people mix it up like, oh, I just want to travel and do this and that, you know?
Yes, that means that we have to drink. So for those of you that have watched the podcast, you know that every time that the alarm sounds, we have to take a shot.
Which I will chase with this. And Don Julio, Reposado,
Salud.
Salud, Mexico.
All right, so I guess moving on from
from work. Some ball here.
Hey, we gotta stop with the ball here. You know what I mean?
Now we're gonna get to. Why don't you slam that down?
Should we do a would you rather?
Already?
Would you rather question? No, we will hold it for later.
That.
We'll do a would you rather. But anyway, moving on from work, let's talk about lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So in Medellin, when you were there, were you renting? Were you renting a single room? Did you rent a whole apartment? I'll start with you.
Nathan, yeah, so my situation kind of changed as my income rose from what I was making, right? So I arrived, no job, just some money saved up. So then I lived with like 5 other people, used a site called Comparto Apto. You can find like shared apartments. For people who move there, I would recommend it. You can get nice places. You can live with like Colombian people and people from South America, practice your Spanish. And then, I lived in a couple other shared houses. We lived in Envigado for a spell at Casa de Bradford.
Yeah,
Casa de Bradford.
He's making me a bed right now, actually.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, he's a really, really talented woodworker.
That's such an awesome place.
Yeah, this last time around when I was there, because I've kind of come and gone. You guys know I was there for 6 months, there for 3 months, traveling in between. I had my own apartment. in Patio Bonito. What was the original part of the question? Like, what were you getting at?
So
Like, just like lifestyle? Like,
well, I guess my question was it easy to find that apartment? Because obviously a lot of people want to come out here and live in Medellin. We're in Mexico, by the way. But when they go to Medellin, was it easy to find that apartment or that room? Or
I think it depends on what your budget is and then what you're willing to sacrifice in terms of familiarity and creature comforts. Like, you can find really cheap places to live that are safe and secure, but like it's probably going to be a lot different living situation than you might be accustomed to previously, right? And so it's like, if you're willing to make that sacrifice, like, okay, cool, like let it ride. But if you need certain things, like, it's getting more expensive. Every time I go back, the prices go up.
How much was it? When was this? Like a year ago?
What one? What place?
The one that you were
the Patio Bonito?
Yeah, the Patio Bonito
Patio
apartment.
Bonito, that was, I was paying like 2.1 million pesos, so like $700, something like that.
Less, yeah, 600.
And that was a 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom?
1-bedroom.
A 1-bedroom, nice apartment to yourself.
Nice apartment to myself.
In Patio Bonito, by the way.
Very basic, right? Like Patio Bonito, awesome neighborhood, like close to AFIT so we can play ball.
Furnished rental.
But very basic, like big king-size bed, sofa, little kitchenette and cooking area, bathroom.
Just enough space to do your nastiness.
You know what I miss? I miss going...
Just enough space to do your nastiness.
All right.
Okay, so you were living in that apartment. What about you, sir?
Oh man! So in the beginning, I stayed in Manila, where you guys live, right in your neighborhood, in a place called Poblado, and that was really awesome. I had this little 1-bedroom as well.
How much was that?
When I first got there, it was 1.5, and it was in Manila. And like now, I think she rents it for almost like 2.8.
Oh, so that was that 1-bedroom with that big ass TV.
Sorry, yeah.
Right?
So like 500. For the people that don't know, 1.5. Yeah, $500. But now, after like 3 years, it's at like almost $800.
That's crazy.
So she raised it about $300.
Wow.
$300.
Like, you see that, man. Like every time I go back, it's more expensive. I'm looking for a place. When I come back, I was looking before.
We got a place for you.
No, yeah, I know, but
Cost
like
$1,000.
Yeah.
But it's a 2-bedroom, right?
Yeah.
3-bedroom.
3-bedroom. Okay.
Yeah.
It's in demolition.
So I think
right
that
now.
exists too.
No, not
like
that one.
getting onto Facebook groups, I would say, is a good place to find a good way to find an apartment and like message and try to connect with people, be friendly, show people that you're cool, and be like, hey, looking for a spot.
Andrew, and then I moved into Lorella's, and on that deal, before I had my little baby boy Diego, ended up here in Guadalajara.
Up to baby Diego.
Baby Diego.
Little Bean.
But I lived in Lorella's, and I had a long-term lease there, and that's something they're doing a lot for people that don't know or want to come to Medellin. They're starting to do these really interesting deals where you can lease long-term.
Who's they? Who's they?
So there's
Give him a shout out. He wanted.
Yeah. Luis Fernando is the guy, and I think it's called like Colombia Home and Visas. I want to say that's his page, but like he was working out deals to help the foreigners get visas and also get like long-term spots as rentals that can lead into sales. For example, the place I was in is now for sale, $100,000 US.
I saw that, yeah. And
with all the furniture.
That's actually a pretty good price.
Where it was?
I mean, it's not a pretty good price compared to what it was before.
Sure.
But now $100,000 to get top story.
3-bedroom, 3-bath.
3-bedroom, 3-bath. It's kind of like a lofty type.
Yeah, it's
style.
a loft spot.
And it's got that feel.
Yeah. And so, he raised rent on me after I left the place. He raised rent by $300 a month.
Rent.
$300. $300. He went from $2 million. I was paying $600 to $2.9.
Wow.
On the
That's crazy rent. That's crazy.
All right. So I guess if you were to go back right now to Medellin, what would you do for housing?
Well, I mean,
I'd have my connections like you and Joel
people,
and networks. You know, like it's a small world.
If I didn't know anyone, I'd have Facebook groups. Airbnb's great. You can book a place. I'll also reach out to people and just message them. Just say, hey, I'm looking for a long-term spot. Are you interested in that? Would you rent a place for 6 months, a year? That's a good place to start. Comparto Apto's a good one.
Yeah. Comparto Apto, yeah.
Comparto Apto, that's like shared apartment. You can.
Did you ever use couch surfing?
Never. I never got a good enough profile. That's like you gotta have like there's like a ranking system there. You gotta have like a good profile with like lots of reviews of people. Like, nah, I'm not letting this guy.
They don't want to look at this guy's
vagabond out of here.
Look at you like this gonna rape me.
I ain't letting this 6'5" giant in my fucking house.
Fucking big, choke me out in my sleep. Yo, I got something to say about this whole price thing too. Actually, I always hear this nonsense about gringo prices. Fuck, people post their place. Like, we've got friends, they post some sick spots like Daniel and them. They
post it where?
On Facebook, on Facebook groups and stuff, saying I got this spot for rent. It costs $3,000, $2,000, whatever per month. And then we got the trolls coming on, not just Colombians, but their own crabs in a barrel motherfucking Americans, pulling them down and saying, oh, fuck you guys with your American prices, your gringo prices. Let me say something about this gringo price thing. You pay for what, you get what you pay for. And two, if you've never rented out a property, if you've never rented a property, if you've never furnished a property, don't talk shit about what people's prices, what they're charging, because you don't know what they put into it. And secondly, as you said, people come here, you might have to step down a bit. Everybody thinks they're going to come here. We talked about it on the last episode.
For sure.
Is that they expect to be waited on and treated like kings and princes and shit like this. But there's tons of people here that have money also. So you coming with your, call it $60,000 a year job back home.
You're a fucking waste management fucking
consultant. Expected to come
out
and
here
be
with
treated
your $80,000 a year.
Yeah.
There are people here that are making millions of dollars. Well,
Yeah,
here, when
they
we
are.
say here, we're talking about Medellin.
Yeah.
And you see these apartments that are amazing apartments,
Yeah.
right?
And people are complaining.
You're not going to get it for $300 a month.
Yeah,
Trust me.
but they're all the comments are, why are they charging gringo prices? I could get this for way less. Like, come on, man.
Yo,
You're going to get a marble
hey,
countertop for way less. You know how much money people have to... Right now, we're doing a reno, and just to do some goddamn floors, man.
Hey, bro.
It's a pain in the ass to put in some floors and put
glad I'm
nice
not
floors
part
and
of
shit. Yeah.
Price.
Like, I'll put the money, but
We're
I'm not
doing
putting
a
the
reno.
brain.
Yo,
I'm not part of
Andrew
that
and Joel, the price is what you pay, value is what you get. You know?
Yeah.
Like, dude, like, people, there's always going to be things that are, like, high price, and, like, you kind of want to pay for them sometimes.
Yeah.
And guess what?
Like,
Just
I want
like
good
everyone
value.
else wants to go to, like, you want to go to Medellin, so does everyone else.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's a place that people want to be in. So it's gonna, like, prices are gonna go up. Like, it's just gonna happen. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I got another question, which is kind of off topic,
Yeah.
but you guys are both pet people, dog people.
Yeah, I got a dog.
Would you consider Medellin a pet-friendly city?
yes.
I love it for the parks, yes. Medellin has like some of the most amazing like parks all over the place that like you could, and if you had a dog, and like even if you were out like outside of this outside of like the main city where you even had some land, like if you went out to Envigado and stuff, you'd have a great place for dogs. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so green. Like anyone that comes to Medellin, when they arrive, they're like, man, look how just green.
And
like,
the other
mountains."
advantage-
Like you get hooked in the drive in from Medellin. You know, no one talks about that. Like when they're driving in. and
Oh,
like,
you haven't come in through the new tunnel.
Oh, the
It's
new
fucking
tunnels there.
amazing. It's a view that no one's
You
ever
haven't
seen.
either.
Yeah,
No.
one's
They'll
seen
park
it.
from the airport, they pick you up to your house,
Yeah.
up in the bed, 30 minutes. 30 minutes.
How's
30
the
minutes
traffic
from
through
the-
the tunnel?
yeah.
The
Oh,
traffic-
It's fine. It's
Whoa.
fine.
It's
Wow.
fine
30
because they
minutes.
don't allow buses
Buses
or motorcycles in that
motorcycles,
tunnel
not
right now.
yet.
So it's like 20, 30
until
minutes.
until they have an earthquake and like the fucking thing collapse on it.
What are you trying to
Kind of
knock
negative
on wood?
bullshit. You see, the Mexicans
go
are all
home,
the
bro.
same.
Yeah,
I would say-
I got a Mexican girl. She's always worried about that stuff. Like I would too, you know.
I'll keep pouring, keep
Time
talking.
to do
we got
some
it already.
shots.
Guys, all right, here we go. We're gonna take this down.
Cheers. Hey, thank you for being on the podcast, guys.
Thanks, man.
Yo, bro, I'm super excited to be on. Oh, where are we going?
To go
All right,
back to your
so-
pet question, though,
yeah,
I
the
would
pet
say
question.
Yeah, that-
Latin people and Colombian people specifically, but Latin people in general love dogs.
Yeah.
True.
You know, like it's not uncommon to be able to bring your dogs into certain cafes and restaurants, and like when you're on the street, people say, "Okay, lindo tu perito." Like, it's
You could help out Donald Trump. But with just powerful statements like that, the Latin people love pets.
the Latin people. I mean,
Like I never heard
Don't
him
hate
say,
the Latin people,
I haven't
they
heard.
like
I haven't
pets.
heard that motherfucker say one goddamn thing like you. Yo, Nate for president. The Latin people love pets, and I would wear a T-shirt that said that too. Would you?
The Latin people
Latin people love pets.
Mushroom chocolate balls for everybody.
Because the Latin people.
We're
love,
getting to the mushrooms.
the
Hold
Latin
on.
people love pets.
round the house.
Mushroom chocolate balls for everyone.
So, anybody that's watched the podcast before, we said that we would do mushrooms live on camera if we hit 1,000 views. 1,000
views.
But we haven't hit that, so we're not doing.
Oh,
mushrooms.
what a
Hey,
letdown!
Hey, we're
Yeah, we're
gonna
not
get
doing
that. I'm
mushrooms
looking right at
today.
the camera. We're gonna get that.
Oh, you showing them the
1,000
baby
views.
blues?
Oh, the baby
There's
blues.
a lot of shadows.
All right. Well,
tell
I
you.
guess moving on. I guess so. We talked about housing, your
Pets.
work. We talked about
Lifestyle.
lifestyle and pets.
I got one.
Joel's
Can I
got
go
a
this
question.
one?
Yeah.
Because I got one. Because I sort of know the answer, But we always ask, and we had quite a few. We upped the female. Well, not quite a few. We've only had two females on the show. But I always like to get people's perception of safety, right? Because once one of the most dangerous cities in the world, you know, and people are like, we've got two extremes. I'm like, man, Medellin is so safe. Nothing's ever happened to me, although now something has.
Wait, what happened to you?
Oh yeah.
We'll talk about me
Pray
after.
tell.
We'll talk after.
No.
Finish your question.
Wait, something happened to you?
Yeah, man.
I don't remember.
We'll come back to that in a second.
We'll come back to that.
But a lot of people say it's really safe and whatever. It is really safe. However, if we really think about it, like I got pickpocketed, not violent crime or whatever. I got pickpocketed,
okay.
But I was
Now I
never
remember.
pickpocketed by a group of like a chain of 4 people got into a fight at a traffic light and stuff like late one morning, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
It was fun being pickpocketed?
Not losing the phone, but the fighting part a little bit, I gotta admit, was fun. Like we rolled around in the beach the other day. That way, every now and then you need to get that fucking thing out of you. But I know.
Sesh, you piece
Yo,
of
we did
shit.
have a little bit of sparring session.
Let's go, you piece of shit.
That's
So,
and we should post a
yeah,
photo.
let's put some fucking
you're
context.
gonna edit this piece of shit.
So 2
It
nights
was only
ago,
a matter of time before it got slid into the podcast.
2 nights ago, we got super drunk, and Kyle wanted to fight me. So
I didn't really.
Whoa.
You were ready for the Royal
I
Rumble.
wanted to fight Kyle. I wanted to fight Kyle, and he actually put me on my ass. Big up.
Big up,
up,
Kyle.
dog.
Big up.
But it was like a Royal Rumble, and then we.
But how did he start
And then
it?
we
He
attacked
start-
this
he said-
snake in the
No,
grass.
no.
you know?
No, just let's snake in the grass. Let's bring it back a second because
There was no grass. We were in the sand.
whatever.
Snake in the
A little
sand.
scorpion crawling along, ready to get you.
Hey,
Scorpion.
Wait,
I'm like, come here, little scorpion.
we're gonna come back to this fight. We're gonna
little piece of shit.
We're gonna post some photos. Yeah, you know, he actually looked at Andrew and said, "Come on, you piece of shit," and then
Well, he bit my fucking arm.
look at the
guys.
bite
If you
marks.
can see this,
we gotta put some.
Well, you got me in the
we might
fight.
have to zoom in on
He was
that.
choking me out. You
wait.
were choking me out. I had to bite you to
Yeah,
let me
but
go.
that's your fault. I mean,
No,
you
but
gave
I was
him the
tapping
ball.
out.
I'm
I
gonna
was
choke you
tapping.
the fuck
I was
out.
tapping out, and he wouldn't tap me out.
So
So
let
I
me
bit it out.
You wouldn't
He wouldn't give. He wouldn't give.
I was gonna put him asleep.
Yeah, I was going to sleep, so I bit him.
I would have bit him. That's not a bitch ass. If
Well,
I'm tapping and you're not letting me up, like what?
Wait. Firstly, so we figured out the Sayulita beaches, the beaches are not a safe place for you to be at in the nights.
With Kyle.
With these pieces of shit. But what I was getting at is, have you guys ever had a negative, a feeling of not being safe or something in Medellin? We're gonna go with you first.
Yes, go
You're
ahead.
first. Have you always felt? What did you feel living in Patio Bonito, which is a good
Living in
area?
all your places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was all right. I think the best answer is like crime is like motive and opportunity, right? So the motive's there. You go to Colombia, you see people who are struggling to get by. There's tons of Venezuelan refugees. Like it exists. It's just they need to eat. They need to survive. So I always say just don't give people opportunity. They would say no dark papaya, but it's like don't expose yourself.
Can
And
you
I've
say that
really-
again? What is
no
what is
dark
that
papaya.
expression? No
dark papaya.
No dark papaya.
No
Explain
dark
it.
papaya.
And what does that mean?
It means don't give papaya. Don't flash what you have. You
Don't look
need-
flashy.
It's good that you got nice stuff. It's good that you're set up, but you don't need to like show up. It ain't the U.S. man where it's like good to have that like
Like,
little
take off-
pop
take-
and
take off your gold-
earbuds in,
take
your
off your gold
MacBook and the
watch.
big Rolex.
Take off
Like
your
cool, man, that's nice. But for them, they're like, oh, that's a big fish, right? Like they're like, there you go. So I'd say keep a low profile,
Okay.
and then also just know that there's like petty theft.
Yeah.
I've never felt, so I've always been aware that I could get robbed and that would happen. I've never once felt like I was going to be kidnapped,
Okay.
murdered. I've always felt people who fear getting murdered. That's just like fascinating to me. Like, who are your enemies, right? Like,
Yeah.
who's like, like I just don't, I've never felt that one. But common petty
Well,
crimes.
well,
Yeah, you're walking home at night. Like if I'm in Patio Bonita and it's 2 a.m. and it's dark and I'm the only one in the
Yeah,
street, man, like, my ears
I
are up. I'm looking
you're
around
also
like, where...
17 feet 5 inches. Like, I mean,
Sure,
most
so I have
people
a
probably.
I have a much different perspective. Yeah,
Yeah.
and but okay, so then part of that for opportunity then becomes, and Shiv, who was on the podcast,
Yeah, right.
there we go, the drunk
Yeah.
stories begin.
Not
He would say, take Uber at night. You
Right.
know, take taxis. Don't like keep the same routine. Don't sit. You guys have told me this since day one. Don't sit outside on the coffee shop with like your computer right there, where someone can come up on a motorbike and just take it.
Right,
and
right.
Why
peel
you
off
got
in
why you
10
got to do
seconds.
that though? Why you?
Why you got to bring that up?
Why you gotta bring it? It's a section. Wait, it's a leading.
Same question to you.
Yeah.
How do you feel about safety? Have you ever had any run-ins in
Yeah,
Colombia?
well, I've actually had the opposite. You know, I've been robbed 2 different times. I've been robbed here in Mexico, and I've been robbed in Colombia, and both by gunpoint, both like tough situations. Well, I think what you realize is that like it's hard to put it like I want to call it like corruption, but there's so much opportunity not to get caught doing something that it creates more people, like opportunity for people to like rob. Sure. And so you got to have your head on a swivel, and like you lose track of that. So like in Colombia when I got robbed, right? Like I had a routine. I like running out of routine. I think most of us like entrepreneurial type people and people that digital nomads, whatever you want to call them, they kind of like run out of their routines. Like we do the same things. We go to the same.
So when you got robbed,
so like I got spotted and like it happened.
Wait. When you got robbed at gunpoint in Colombia, can you describe that if you don't mind?
Yeah. In Lorella's at an awesome coffee shop. I used to always go in the afternoon.
Lorella's by the first park or second park?
By the first park.
Okay.
And
right by UPB.
Right by UPB, right? You guys, like right off there, and I lived on like Circular Dos. Anyone that knows, but like in Lorella's, and it just happens so quick that you don't really expect it. Like it was 3:30 in the afternoon for me.
And you guys were at the cafe. It was
cafe,
you and Sam, right?
outside, like, and you just get used to like working on your laptop, and you don't realize like, holy shit, like someone could be spotting us, and there's like 2 laptops, 2 MacBooks, and 2 iPhones sitting on a table, and it's a good shout. And the guy got within a couple feet of me, gun in my face, you know, and it's. Like it happens, and it's reality, and it happens real quick, and then you go, and then it messes with your psyche because you can be the other guy that goes, "I've never had this happen," but now, like as soon as it happens to you, it f's with you, right?
Right.
After Kyle got robbed, I was tripping, man. Like I wouldn't like want to go out with my computer. I wouldn't want to like go out and at nighttime with like a backpack full of stuff. I'd also say, and when I wrote this piece for Medellin Buzz, I said like one thing that I would always do is like limit my vulnerability. Like I don't go out with my computer and both credit cards and a big wad of cash and this and that. Like if I'm gonna go out, like don't bring anything, right? Okay, so if I lose my computer, at least I still have my phone. If I lose my phone, at least I still have my computer, right? Like you don't like if you have everything at one time and
do you like having to live that way?
I don't think. That's a good question. No, it does suck. I will say that. I'm not gonna lie, it does suck to know that it's there and you have to worry about it. Like coming here, like in comparison to Sayulita.
Yeah, you can
walk around barefoot, free as a bird, and it's a great feeling. So it is something you have to be aware of. Like I wouldn't like tell anyone who's going to Medellin, like, no, it's not like it's 100% safe. You don't have to worry about anything because you do have to worry and you do have to be conscientious. But I think there's so many other benefits.
What's your guys' thoughts on
that? Like tell me, you guys have been there. You've been in the mix for a while. Like,
I've been in Medellin for 9 years and I've never been robbed. And I lived in 7 different neighborhoods. I lived in downtown where someone attempted to rob me, and I slapped them.
But the other day you also yeah, you get that.
And I laid the pimp
I'm like the wrong person to rob.
But lately somebody tried. Remember around the same place that I got.
And I slapped that guy too.
Yes, it's great, and it felt like it was fun. You could get hurt.
Open hand or backhand?
No, it was open hand. The guy reached for it was actually it was at the same corner where you were talking about.
Yeah,
and I was with a girl. And I was with a girl.
Same thing.
I was walking down with a girl, and I was talking to her as I'm walking down, and the guy goes, "Hey, chiclets," like this, and then his other hand, this guy's are so sly, was reaching for my thing. I fucking slapped the shit out of him.
Your penis?
No, for my phone.
And you slapped?
I slapped him, open hand slap, like in the face. And all his buddies came out like looking like, what's happening? And I'm like, you don't want to know. Well, you don't want to know. Yeah. But if he had a knife or a gun, I would not have done that. I wouldn't have done that.
But that corner, and by the way, if anybody like visits Medellin, you're coming to Medellin or whatever, my thing is that, again, I'll preface this by saying that Medellin feels so safe and friendly and cuddly that you can let your guards down.
For sure.
After a while that you've been there, now, it happened to me after 7 years of being there. I'm like, people get robbed out in like, these areas or whatever. But not around here. But mine wasn't robbed. It wasn't with a firearm or anything. But I was walking home after a party, and obviously I'd been drinking and stuff, and I was holding an umbrella like this and walking with a girl, and she was under the umbrella, and both of my hands were occupied.
Yeah.
So my phone was in my back pocket. And a group of 3 people approached us, a girl and two guys, one pretending to sell chicle or like gum, and he came to the front like this, and the girl came this way offering something else, and then all of a sudden another guy, Andrew, is drinking his microphone. Did you just drink his microphone? And then, yeah, I looked over.
I'm trying to signal him for the fucking.
Oh, I thought he literally drank his microphone.
Yeah. Finally, anyways, I'm trying to signal him for the fucking alarm.
5 or 10.
So you were walking down, Joel. You were walking down, and what happened?
And so basically,
you were holding an umbrella, and it was like downpour. I remember
downpour.
That
There's two people from the front, a girl and a guy, and another guy pretending to be drunk. So another guy pretending to be drunk like this came, and he bumps into me and snatches my wallet, and I feel it come out of my back pocket. Not my wallet, my phone. And he passes my phone to the girl, who then runs it to a cab that's waiting like literally 1 meter away, puts my phone in the cab, and the cab takes off driving. But at that point, I was intoxicated and was ready to go for it. And so then basically, I told the guys, we make a deal in my drunken state. I said, all three of you will fight for it.
Yeah.
And if I win, you give me the phone. If I lose, you keep the phone, no problem. And they're like, oh, this is some fucking crazy shit. Like, no. And basically, in the end, I got really, really pissed. And I don't know, I got into this, what they call it, en peliculada, or like in this movie. And I saw a beer bottle on the ground. So I was like, oh, fuck yeah, this is the time. So I pick up the beer bottle, and I go up to the like street pole, and like in the movies, you hit it and it breaks, but I hit it, it didn't break. So I hit the fucking pole, and I'm like, no, now these guys are gonna think I'm a
your arm.
Yeah,
I'm gonna mess you up.
Exactly. Yeah, and the shit didn't break. So then I got even more pissed, and I did break it. And I held the guy, and I put the thing up to his neck, and I'm like, give me my fucking phone, give me my phone. And it would start to go off. And on him, and he's like, yeah, like to the point he's gonna piss his pants. And in my head, I'm like, Joel, you're not gonna kill anybody. So I drop the bottle. But as I drop the bottle, his friend starts rushing me from the other side. And in a fight, I don't think I've ever kicked before, but the only thing I did to these two guys was kick and kick and kick and kick until they just leg kicks, until they one ran up La Diez, and the girl started running. The girl that I'm with screaming, get her, and like it went like really crazy, and your adrenaline's pumping, and you're like, fucking yeah. But then I thought about it after. I'm like, I bought this motherfucking Kodak phone on Amazon for $99, and I put my life at risk for $99. Any of them could have stabbed me up or shot me.
The moral of the story is that you don't want to get in a fight.
You don't want to get in a fight.
You don't want to do anything. If someone comes up to you,
let it go.
It happens in cabs too.
Yeah.
They'll come up to the cab with a gun. Just give up your shit.
Give it to
them.
It's like there's so many great things about Medellin. People, like climate, like culture,
everything, dude.
everywhere. Like it's a great place
but it's
to live.
scary.
But there's parts of it that aren't so great.
Listen, I don't know, like in Chicago and LA and stuff like that, maybe stuff like that happens where a group of people come up and like fucking jack you. But I know, like Kyle was saying, when you have a gun, I've never had a gun pointed at me. But I'm sure you have a gun pointed at you. If you're in Medellin, it's not that, maybe 1 in 500 chance that it could happen to you. But honestly, it can. You know, and like that's one of the things like I want to tell people is that shit can really happen to you, and it's not just, oh, Medellin is great. People are poor, and wherever there's poverty, add up how much you got robbed that day, and then compare it to the minimum wage. Right. You got robbed for like.
For like 10 times.
Yeah, like six months.
And true, and true, like people. hey, people.
Think about that.
People forget too, like, you know, like, if you look at Nathan and I, right? Like, I look like a tall gringo person from like, hey, he ain't from here, right? Like,
Paisa's not robbing you, I'm robbing you.
It's instant, like just like profiling a little bit. Yeah. But like the Colombian people, like, I didn't blame Colombia and all this shit when like bad things happen. I just said like, it's part of like. Wait, you know, I'm sorry.
It's what you get, right?
It's kind of why, like,
going to another
it's kind of why
country.
you have, like, you know, it's a possibility.
But when they said,
but like, I don't hold like big picture things because like, people will be like, oh well, I don't want that to happen to me, so they never come. Like, Medellin is one of the fucking coolest.
Yeah,
places.
exactly what Nate was saying. You're right. There's so much positive. I just want to bring up the safety thing because there is no utopian place that exists that everything's perfect, but safety is a concern, and I always bring it up because I don't want people to get it twisted. Don't come here and get into a bar fight and stuff like that and think that stuff will go down the same way. What do you think, start with you, is the most difficult thing about dating a Paisa girl or a Latina
I already
girl?
know my answer.
The most difficult thing
Yeah.
of dating let's just call it Paisa, right? Medellin woman. Honest truth, I get frustrated with like sometimes the slowness.
What is this?
Like
slowness?
I almost mean like everything is like it's never on time. It's never in demand. Like it's always just nonchalant, right? Like it's slow at times. And it gets on your nerves, right? You're like, let's get to it, like move, like
wait.
Like, well, I don't know, just see tomorrow. It's just like, are you fucking joking me, dude? Like sometimes it's super slow, and that takes an adjustment. I'm gonna go with that. I'm passing on to you.
For me, being someone who dated a person who didn't speak much English, it was the language barrier. It was reaching a point where like we're in a fight and you're having normal relationship arguments and fights are going through it. I'm like, motherfucker, I can't express myself. I would say to her, like, this isn't fair, and then she would, and it would just be like, it's just so frustrating because you want to connect and you want to like communicate with that person and get your point across, and you're not like, man, there's so many times I would say something and it wasn't what I meant at all. It wasn't what I was like. Wasn't like my intention to like even.
But the words.
And the way she took it went the complete other way, and I was like, oh, and just
Language
here we go. Like
language barriers is probably number one, man.
Dude, that's a big one, and just I mean, I would say, if you want to go Paisa women particularly require some attention, some tender love and care. They are, Paisa women, I love you. Paisas in general.
Yeah.
Colombian people, I have nothing but love for your entire country. I tell everyone here to go to Medellin all day long. Paisa women, you guys are some high maintenance people.
I agree.
Yeah.
My biggest problem is myself. Because there's so many beautiful women out there.
Yeah, there's
there's so many that I can't speak bad about. I mean, I agree with the time thing. I don't have the language barrier thing.
I'm sorry, just like not just.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree. I
agree
agree with that because people are slower, and I totally and it frustrates you. But for me, it's myself. So when I go out in Medellin and I have a girlfriend, and then I see, like you walk around on the corner, there's a 10, and there's another 10, and I'm like, and I have a problem. So I'm thinking like I could be with that girl. And why am I with this girl? There's and it's a bad thing. So if there's a psychologist out there watching, hit me up. Hit me up.
Kyle and I were talking about this the same thing with the digital nomad lifestyle, where like you want to settle down. At a certain point, you want community and stability and security. Yeah, but it's the other side of the coin is when you have the option to go anywhere and live anywhere and do anything. It's like that becomes overwhelming. And with Medellin, it's the same thing. Where it's like there is the option of I could be single and date. And go dancing with and
every girl
and sleep with all these amazing women that are everywhere around me. And it kind of like makes being in a relationship seem much heavier because you're like mentally your opportunity cost.
I would say men are losing. Men are.
I told my mom, she's like, well, why don't you have a wife? Why don't you have kids? I'm 38 years old.
Yeah.
And I told mom, and it's horrible, and you girls are gonna hate me for this. I told mom, Medellin is like, remember when you were a child and you went to an ice cream shop? And your dad said you can have any ice cream here.
Hour to pick that one?
No. Any ice cream. And you're like, yeah, I want the strawberry. And then your dad says, but you can only have it for life. That's the ice cream that you're going to eat for life. And you're in the ice cream shop.
Yeah.
I'm like, hell no. I'm not going to eat fucking strawberry my whole life.
But what happened is over time though, you acquired that taste. And you figured out that you only liked two flavors.
And then you have a little ice cream.
Flavor.
And then you have a baby ice cream.
Then you have a single scoop.
You guys got the glasses. I can't even pour the shots.
All right, so I guess moving on.
Where are the shot glasses, people?
We're going to do the shots.
We need to up the number of production assistants.
I gave them one shot. They didn't want to give back.
We recruited
struggling on the production.
You're the worst production assistant I've ever seen.
Get your fucking ass in the
Coffee,
game.
margaritas, and tequila shots, bitch. Like, what don't you get about this?
I need margaritas. Get to the corner.
All right,
but you got to be drinking shots.
So we were talking about relationships. Obviously, both of you guys had long-term relationships in Medellin. Would you say that was a positive experience for both of you?
100% yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
100% yes.
Oh, I heard a little hesitation over here.
Only because yes, it was. It was a good time. I had a very Paisa woman. did 2 years there, like hanging out with
You
this
make it
girl.
sound like
It
jail.
felt like
I
a
did
jail.
2 years.
I did 2
I did. I was in there. I did 2 years, and I.
Yeah, that does sound like a prison sentence. I did 2 years of meditation.
Yo, we
2 years upstate
Yo.
at Paisa
I know.
Paradise.
Upstate Paisa. Yo, you know what's fucked up, Nate? I told you this the other
That's
night.
so funny.
And he made it sound like he was like with a cleaning lady.
No, but yeah,
I was
I did
a very
2 years.
Paisa woman.
No.
Let me drop this fact.
That was
a
actually
little
hilarious.
factoid for y'all out here. People, some of you coming to learn some Spanish and stuff. I talked about. Let me take the shot real quick.
Oh,
Take
yeah,
the
yeah,
shot.
we got the shots.
Cheers. Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
I talk about Latin men like Andrew Macia and
I'm a
Felipe
Mexican man.
over here, and Justin, like the wannabes, Latinos, and I'm talking about these guys are some fucked up motherfuckers. Here's why. I told you the other night, just like how Kyle just said he served 2 years with that girl.
I didn't serve 2
Yeah,
years.
man, no, wait.
It's right. I
Do
did
you
something.
know that the word for wife and the word for handcuff are the same in Spanish?
Esposa?
Esposa, yeah.
Esposa.
Yeah.
Handcuffs are esposa.
Damn, that's
Esposa,
That's
esposa.
some fucked up shit. That's fucked up. But
That's
these
like
men,
white
they can get-
wife.
Yeah, but they can get
Yeah,
away with
wifed
that,
up.
and I love you for that, for
didn't know
being
that.
so
Thank
rude and crude, like the Medellin podcast. Big up Latino men, right?
That's
Did you
right.
know that?
Yeah, as of 2 nights ago, yeah, or the other night when we were
There you
talking.
Did you get
yeah.
handcuffed?
Did I get handcuffed?
No, Kyle's the only handcuffed motherfucker out here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Handcuffed?
Yeah.
I haven't been handcuffed.
So wait,
Well, you got a baby. That's a handcuff and a half.
Oh, bro. I
Damn,
mean,
you got your legs shackled. You fucking Kunta Kinte.
they got me
here.
up in like a fucking hog. They got me in a hog tie. I'm hog tied. I got like.
He is the fucking Kunta Kinte.
The black guy
got
said,
I got roots.
It's the cycle of life, bitch. Come straight around.
He got strapped up and in
Yeah.
a boat.
Yeah.
All right.
So wait, yo, you know what? The
Yeah, go ahead.
comparison. I want to hear. All right. What is the comparison to you of living in Medellin versus living in Guadalajara? And then we're gonna come to you after. What to you? What pros and cons? What do you
Oh
think?
man, Mexican culture is closer to the U.S. culture. They're closer in similarity. We're still very different, but we meet in a lot of different angles. I felt like I was in Colombia. I was like really like this is completely different.
Yeah.
It's completely different where I'm from.
Yeah.
I like the warmness of the people in Colombia more, and I think the Mexicans look at it and they're like, man, they're just all like touchy, blah blah blah. They're always like too like warm
say
or
it's
flirty.
fake.
They'll say it's fake. Yeah, fake is the good word. Like they'll do this. I don't necessarily feel that. It's
Wait, you
weird.
think that they're warmer in Colombia
I
than
think
here?
I think
More
they're warm in
genuine.
Col-
I think that's the word you're looking for, right?
I think they're more open. When I say warm, it's almost like an open, energetic vibe. Like they're more warm and welcoming.
I'm so in disagree. I disagree with
yeah,
that.
let's just set the
entirely.
record. And even if you don't disagree, like Mexico and Colombia are probably two of the friendliest, most
My
open
two
countries
favorite
in the world. Like
countries,
in terms of the
Wait,
people
you asked
meet,
me.
like they're like.
But you asked me about like
1A,
you asked
1B.
me. You asked me about a
pros and
little bit.
cons, yeah.
You asked me
Okay,
about a
sure.
little bit of like differences. Like it's true. Like it's just a little bit more like direct and warm and interjected, open
Yep, for
than
sure.
it is here.
Colombian
And
people
I
are
think
warm.
I think that represents a lot more of like the United States, right? We're all in actually the Americas, right? So like. That represents the United States as well. They're like warm and open, but it's hard. There's a difference in the I don't know. Yeah, I use warm because it's like the energetic vibe is more open.
I feel maybe, like a lot of times I come back and I bring shit back to race and culture, and people are like, oh yeah, you're doing it, but it's maybe we have different perspectives on certain things based on our race, because for example, you anywhere in the world, by the way, you go with your baby blue eyes, you're gonna be treated nicely,
Sure.
right? I find that in Mexico, as a guy of color at least, right? I don't feel like really any different. You got the beautiful blue eyes, but
Thanks.
I don't really feel the difference like you're on any plateau, like anything above me.
No.
But in Colombia, I do. I feel that the warmth that I receive when I walk into a restaurant, the bus, wherever here, I don't ever take the bus, what the fuck am I lying about?
Yeah.
But wherever I go, I feel like I'm being like embraced as Mexican. I have a tattoo here that means made in Mexico,
Yep.
because I feel so fucking embraced here. When I'm in Medellin, yes, people can be warm, like to say hi when you're in an elevator and whatever, but none of them have ever invited me within the first 10 minutes of meeting them to stay with their families. And here in Mexico, That has happened so much. Like trust me, if you go and we chill in that margarita spot a few more times, they'll be like, "Don't pay when you come back the next time.
Yeah, sure.
Stay with us. We have a room."
Yeah,
That's Mexican.
Look. Mexicans also like they're very like family oriented too. Like I can't like I'm not trying to say that they're not warm people.
Yeah. Keep it going.
I'm not saying that they're not like warm people. They're like I have like a whole Mexican family between friends and like friends of family and like we go like consistently to like family events and different things. So like
I guess the moral of the story is that if you're black,
you won't crack. So the question I asked was, for you, Nate, was how does Medellin like compare to other places? What are the pros you think to living in Medellin versus, for example, now you live, and I don't think we actually said that earlier, but you live here in Sayulita, you live on the beach. You're a lot darker. We're closer to like relatives right now in terms of color. You're thin.
you look how dark he is. I've never seen that.
Don't be jealous, Kyle. You got the eyes already. Shut the fuck up.
He's got the
Kyle, just because you got bit on the arm.
Yeah.
Yo, man, don't trip. You know I got a good tan.
Yeah.
All right. So the question
is what? Why would you tell somebody to go to Medellin to live versus coming here, vice versa? Don't go to Medellin. Like, analyze it critically from the perspective of somebody who's living on a beach.
Okay. Pros and cons, Medellin versus other places. Pros, like culture, but I say culture in terms of people. So openness to the people, friendliness, dancing, like vibrant, rich culture. Climate. I cannot overestimate or underestimate. Help me out here, guys. I cannot like say enough how important I think it is that like Medellin is so regular in its climate. I mean, there's the rainy season, the dry season, but it's 6:30 to 6:30 every day.
Yeah.
Like every plant, every vegetable you can imagine grows there. Like I think for personal growth and feeling like getting into a routine and feeling good and comfortable, it's a really great place to live. I would tell tourists I prefer Medellin to live in than I would to like travel in. Like there's attractions, there's things to do around town. You go to Camino 13, you go up, Parque RV, you can go on some of the tours and you go salsa dancing, but it's a livable city. For entrepreneurs, people who want to like create something, be motivated, be inspired, meet other interesting people, like really build your network, Medellin all day long. And that's not just compared to Sayulita, that's everywhere.
So
that's Lisbon, that's
why
United.
Are you here?
So why are you in Sayulita?
Yeah,
so I'm in Sayulita because I needed to get away from from feeling the need to be more. I needed to get back to the water for one. I needed to surf. I needed to be in the water. I needed to be physical and be active, and I needed to have time to get over a pretty big heartbreak.
You're speaking like you're some sort of merman or some shit.
Oh,
like
I'm a water creature, man.
You weren't born in the water, man.
Me and Kyle have talked about this. Like we're water guys. We're gonna live by water.
So
like we're lakes, oceans, rivers. Like we're gonna live by water.
You needed to get back to the water.
I needed to get back to the water. I never lived by the beach, and I had a really. I mean, this is probably too deep. I got a gut-wrenching breakup, man. Like I need to get away from a lot of things, from people, friends, family. Just like time to process and like go through the pain and the emotion.
Are you thinking of going
So
back?
this breakup was with a Paisa girl?
We used to say Paisteña. Like she's from Antioquia, but she's costeña. She's costeña. She's costeña.
She's costeña from the
So it hurt you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, that's why we're here. It's a support network of friends.
Support group, friends.
For people who are hurt.
Just trying to be
friends. If any of
friends.
you've ever been hurt by a Paisa woman, and you want to come on a retreat,
Go to the Medellin Buzz.
We can help you out. We got
We
you.
can sort you out.
Yo, we can
I
stay
can
in this
give you
beautiful
the
villa.
recipe. Yeah. Okay, so I think entrepreneurial level, like I talked about, like motivation, meeting people, Medellin all day long compared to every other city I've been to, every place I've been, and then trying to think what else, pros and cons. Food's better here.
The food's better
here.
in
But,
Mexico.
Yeah, Colombian food's, we won't say like.
But you haven't been, and one of the things too, I would ask about women and dating in the two places, but I know that you've been on this whole like monk thing, where like your whole philosophy is to like not think that your penis exists, and that's I mean it's difficult to do in Medellin. Here you could probably do that.
Yeah, man.
You can't do that, man.
No, I can't do it
I'm gonna
here.
tell you
There's
this.
too many hot white women here.
Hot what?
Edit
White
this
women.
in however you can get this in, because I
There's a
want to
lot
say
of
this.
hot
Yeah.
white women in
If you're
Sayulita.
a Canadian, if you're a U.S. citizen, if you're from Europe, if you're a white guy or a foreigner who's thinking about going to Medellin to like meet girls and like have sex and start the sex escapade, come correct. Like don't come in it where like you haven't met a girl in like 6-7 months. Like you are going to like the big leagues of dating. Like that's like it is the major leagues. Like you better have
Aquí
your
or
best bitch
in
in Colombia.
Colombia.
right? Like the dating scene there is intense. It's heavy. Like you go there and like you're not ready to like have like a little bit of game to you, like you'll get shut down.
So
straight up.
Kyle just said something about Achilles. What were you trying to
Aquí.
say?
I said here.
Aquí?
Here or
Oh, I
like
thought you said
Medellin?
something about you could hurt.
What's
your
it like
Achilles.
here?
Okay, Kyle. Kyle.
This is a different vibe.
Straighten
Same
up,
question.
man. You're
Same
on a
question.
podcast, not a fucking like.
I was chilling.
Well,
listening.
same.
I was
Yeah,
letting
no, I
the man
understand.
finish his
Same
point.
question. Pros and cons to living in Medellin.
I thought you.
Oh man, hey, for me, for someone that's who built a business and along with my business partner, Medellin was amazing from a business point of view. I love the
Why?
entrepreneur.
Wait. How,
I think the vibe, the entrepreneurial spirit. There's a good community of people there.
But wait. You
Show
said
me your
that-
friends, I'll show you who you are. You
Wait.
are the company you keep, man. Medellin, there's people from SF, from
But-
all over the world who are like successful, like not 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure entrepreneurs who are relocating there, and like it is becoming the hub of South America.
Well,
for
he just
entrepreneurs.
said something
No,
very
go ahead.
interesting, though. Like, how has Medellin catapulted your business?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Actually, to be honest with you, I felt like all the business was outside of Medellin, but it was the internal crowd of people that were doing things while they were in Medellin that was more of a driver. It wasn't necessarily doing business inside Medellin. It was the
Motivation.
people that were becoming part of that hub that were like people that were motivated by freedom plus entrepreneurship.
And I know,
plus
I know
this,
you
like,
hired
this
someone.
lifestyle.
in
Yeah,
Medellin,
no, I
right?
did. I did, and I hired actually a Brazilian inside Medellin, and he was there before because he kind of knew that there was this vibe there, and he was kind of looking for that as well.
Shout
So,
out to
like,
Guy.
Yeah, shout out to Guillermo.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Who you are,
and
man.
yeah, he was my first employee, and like he was from Brazil, and he felt that as well. So like, there's something to be said. about it.
Well, for people that want to know, what is a good salary, or what were you paying this guy? I mean, you don't have to
I like
tell
to
me.
pay. I like to pay, and from my perspective,
He's a
I like-
programmer, right?
Yeah, no, I mean he had a law degree, had no digital marketing experience. This guy, and a lot of people like I'm judging not so much by what they're almost capable. Like I want to know like, man, like do you have it in you to like want to learn something? What are your motives behind what it is that you're trying to do, right? And he was hungry, and I found this guy, and I got lucky. It doesn't always work out that way, but I got lucky to have a hungry employee that was hungry for something else, and I kind of taught him what I do, and he used his skill sets and abilities to like do that job.
Do it better than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's left
Dude.
recently. So where are you going to turn to
Hey.
now? Bangladesh?
No.
Where are you gonna get it, you?
What I learned, I lost. To bring up his point, I lost this same employee after 2 years, right?
Yeah.
But after I lost him, what I also realized was like, hey, like I don't have extra structure in my business. He became an extension of my business, of everything that I was doing, and I taught him everything. I gave him so much responsibility. But the truth is that actually fell on me. When I created a business, I needed to actually have people that were in places of doing things. So like he taught me strong lessons by almost losing him just as much as having him, and he was able to show me things that like I didn't even know and help me create things that I didn't even have at the time of bringing him on.
Right.
So I look at it, right, and that's a whole nother topic in itself, right? So we don't have to go down that path, but
There's
So
a
would
ton
you
of
say, as a digital marketer, and you've got
Yeah.
an agency,
yeah.
Medellin would be a good spot to like recruit people, or
I want to say on both sides, both recruiting people, but also both being connected to certain people, right? There's like, I feel really close to you guys. We're all sitting in a thing. There's some of my closest people sitting here next to me, like that are from this area. But at the same time, there's a lot of other amazing souls I know, right?
Yeah.
And there's guys doing things in all different markets. Danny McAllowitz doing like fucking
The chocolate.
chocolate man, you know what I mean? Alan Howard doing like digital marketing in his own thing. There's guys like Shashing. There's guys like Timothy. Like there's guys.
Tim Kim, programmers, Ethan
you
Clayton,
know,
like, you mean-
Ethan
Shout out to
Clay.
Tim.
I'll shout out
There's a ton of people
a
there,
bunch
right?
of people that are like doing
We have
incredible
we got the
things.
homie Mike selling bull semen.
Yeah. Hey, Mike Estrago, bull semen.
all right. So we got a friend that sells bull semen.
Hey, but everyone's
I don't think we all
entrepreneurial.
have-
Rich as fuck.
It's lucrative.
He's rich as
it's,
fuck.
It's a lucrative business.
Yo, and that
man.
dude's a G. He's like, I got an LLC in Delaware. I'm like, go fuck yourself, Michael. But like, hey, I know you're from Switzerland too, like, and he's a G. And like, all these people create this collective of amazingness in Medellin. And I've learned from everything.
He said it right, though.
including you
It's
guys.
both. It's the people you connect with, like this. You know, we all learn from each other. And then, let's not lie, like, from a capitalistic perspective, like, there's a wealth of talent from people from Venezuela and Colombians who will do fantastic work, from videographers to graphic designers, fraction of the cost. It's a huge value add for the clients that I work with as a consultant in the U.S. We're like, hey, can you have somebody who do this? Yep, no problem. No problem. They
How do
can
you
handle
guys
it at
feel
a
about that
fraction
as
of the cost of what
your
you're going to
business
find.
owner?
Yeah, I mean,
right? Like,
Joe
you
and
guys
I,
leverage
we've
this?
got an agency there, and I think we have talented people. Sometimes they're lazy. And, I'm
I dare you to fire me.
I'm a hustler, man. I will find you under a rock. Quick. I'll fire your ass and find you under a rock. Look, there's one right there.
Anyways, how do you
But-
guys feel about that?
No, but I mean, hiring people in Colombia. Well, I never thought that I would own a company ever in my life. I thought that I was going to hustle myself and that I would make my own money. I've always been a nomad myself.
Okay. All right.
So I've always made my own money and supported myself.
Yep.
But now I've got a family of 10. So that's what I feel like. Like tomorrow, like we were talking about, like our one of our biggest clients could fucking shut us down tomorrow.
True.
But I got a family of 10 to feed.
Yeah.
So what am I going to do? I'm going to go hustle. I will, because I'm not going to leave them hanging.
And you do your best when your back's against the wall.
Oh, yeah. Oh, trust me. But I think in Colombia, you get people that are super loyal to you. Probably just like Mexico, right? That are super loyal to you.
Yep.
And that are willing to work.
Well, I think one of the
talented.
I think one of the
They're
big things
talented
is one of the big things is, for I think I mentioned this on another podcast. I don't know how many episodes back. Tim Ferriss's book, The 4 Hour Work Week, changed a lot of our lives. It changed mine. I think it's one of the.
I read it too. I read it. What was that like?
Tim Ferriss, when you tune in, shout out to you. We
If
appreciate
Tim
you.
Ferriss-
Yeah,
yeah,
when
the
you
content-
when you come to Medellin and you watch this
Watch,
before,
maybe,
like yeah,
maybe he will. But I think one of the biggest things, and again, Medellin combined, like I met Conrad, who actually knew Hans Keeling, whose house I
yeah.
photographed. And Hans
met
Keeling
Hans.
obviously is friends with Tim Ferriss. And I remember calling my dad going, Dad, man, remember
It's
that book
another
I told
level.
you about? I'm like 1 degree of separation from Tim Ferriss. Tim, I've never met Tim Ferriss, but I'd love to, because honestly, that book, for example, changed my life. What I'm getting to is, in terms of doing business and stuff, calling us digital nomads, whatever you want
the
to call
term
us,
you wanna use.
is that his first explanation of, earning dollars, paying in rupees, and living in pesos, I was like, wow, that's fucking incredible. I wish if I could get there at some point. And fast forward a little bit, me and Andrew were hiring folks. You had your guy, was it your guy Arjun, or my guy was Arjun?
No,
Yours was
Arjun's my guy. Yeah,
We had
Arjun
guys-
from India.
We had guys from India,
And
Pakistan.
Evie. Shout out to Arjun and
Yeah,
Evie.
Evie.
Evie's
She's
in the
still,
Philippines.
She's still charging $3 an hour. I remember that story. Andrew was like, yo, man, I met this girl 10 years ago. She used to charge me $3 an hour. Guess how much she's charging now? I'm like, 15? He's like, no, 3. Still charging the same amount of money. Wow. Still happy to receive the same amount of money. But one of the biggest things that when you talk about hiring and setting up business, whether it's in Medellin or whatever, I would say there's a few reasons that you should hire local. One, because you really, if you can find that gem, that fucking nugget in India or Sri Lanka or where the fuck you're gonna hire, good on you.
Yeah.
You might find that one. It's gonna take you a
It's
very
hard.
long,
It's hard.
very long
Yeah.
time. And when you get someone here, and you get a team here, one, not only are you getting somebody that can sit beside you or like meet with you a couple days a week or whatever, but I think as foreigners we contribute to Colombia. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. I think if we're living in the US, we're paying taxes in the US or in Canada or whatever, we're buying at restaurants in the US and we're outsourcing to fucking Sri Lanka. Who the fuck cares? And you're still contributing. But I think one of the biggest parts, he talks about us having a family of 10, I think one of the biggest parts about us doing business here is that we get to influence Colombian lives and Colombian society. Whether you think it or not, me and Andrew, on a daily basis, we change Barrio Manila where we live.
Yeah.
We invite people on a daily basis to do coffees at this coffee shop. You should eat over here. You should come here. And it changes the structure of the city in which we live in. So it's a much different level when you're hiring local and the lives and the people and the environment that you're influencing versus just outsourcing and like
I want to say just the close. You know, like my dad was just in town, right? He hears me, right? And like I have a remote team, and he'll call and he'll be like, he sat there and he heard me talking to him and how I communicate. He was like, son, have you ever thought about just like having a team like in house? Yeah. He's like, I think you might be more dangerous with like a team in house that like you can talk to at the second and like bounce ideas off of and then like implement like right away. And I was like, you know what? Like, you're right. I would. And like the amount I could get done.
And I wish I could know these. I worked for a guy 10 years ago, and he had his whole team was digital. That was amazing to me. Yeah. I can't do that. I need my team here so I could fucking beat their ass when they're not fucking.
But even I still got me. I mean, it's a little hard, but I still got mad respect on you for like saying like, hey, that team internally, like whether you're.
I need the people here.
But hold on. What I agree with you. Whether you're doing it remotely, whether you're doing it in-house.
Not remotely.
One thing I think that entrepreneurs, people from wherever that want to go to Medellin,
we're not entrepreneurs. We're leaders.
All right, leaders from the world's leaders that want to come to Medellin and buy an apartment for $150,000, $200,000 and settle down and like start a business and leverage this and currency arbitrage. Fantastic. One of the things you can do to give back is you can hire people who locally live there and infuse that money into 100%. The community. Like you don't have to tip and hire people who live there, and really infuse that money into the community. And you've done not as much as you can, but that's at least you're not leaving a negative imprint where you're just coming in and like just taking advantage of the fact that you make dollars and you live off pesos and you don't put anything back into the ecosystem. Like put it back.
But I don't think I also think like that also determines on the place you're gonna stay. Like you guys, we all feel that about Medellin, right?
All right, so
you're not doing that in every place that you go to.
Now that we've gotten all this dirty talk out of our mouth, and for those of you that want to judge us for some of the things that we say on this show, like that one dude, fuck you, first and foremost. Yeah. And because we're going to continue doing this shit. You got at least 52 episodes out of us. Join on every motherfucking episode.
Salute on that motherfucker.
We're going to have cool motherfuckers on this. We don't care if they're Asian, black, white, spilling drinks on themselves. I don't care about any of that. We're going to continue bringing shit about business, lifestyle, safety, so you guys can make the best decision about if you want to move to
We make money. What do you make?
Gold, bitch.
We make money. What do you make? All right, so you can find us. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Google Podcasts as well, and on Apple Podcasts. And what's that other one called? Reiki or
Spreaker?
iHeartRadio.
Speaker?
iHeartRadio.
Hey, Medellin. Love you.
Love you.
Te quiero.
We love you, Medellin. And we're out here in Mexico talking about Medellin. And because we love Medellin so much, and
thank you.
That's my home.
Bro.
Thank you
Thanks
for being
us on, bro.
Homeboys.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate
you. Appreciate you.
Episode 13.
13.
Episode 13. 13. Fight, mother.